Hello everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Emily Jiang. I work for IBM. I'm the cloud native architect and advocate. So I'm actually work on MicroProfile and Jakarta EE for quite a few years. I sit on the steering committee and spec committee for both MicroProfile and Jakarta EE. If you have watched the previous sessions, you might have heard MicroProfile being talked about in many different sessions. And if you are new to MicroProfile, you might be wondering what is MicroProfile, and this is a session for you. So in this session, I'm going to talk to you about the current status of MicroProfile and also end with the basically future outlook for MicroProfile. And I will do quite a few live demos about how to get you started with MicroProfile. So it's the first I will talk about the background, and then I will do a deep dive, and then finish with the future. MicroProfile is an open source project under Eclipse Foundation. It's governed by the MicroProfile working group by these 12 members: IBM, Red Hat, Oracle, Microsoft, Jisu, Tommy Tribe, and AJAG, Garden Center Jag, and these two, also Piara and Asia Infra and Prampton. So this is basically when we release the specifications and etc. These members will vote, cast their vote to show their support and etc. So this is the MicroProfile is cloud native standard. It publishes APIs. There's many adopters for these APIs. In IBM, we have Open Liberty, WebSphere Liberty. Red Hat has the Wildfly, Quarkus, and Piara has Piara. Tommy Tribe has Apache Tommy EE. Oracle has Helidon, and Fujitsu has Apache Launcher, and also Hammock, Prana Cloud, Apache, Geronimo, and also Red Hat JBoss. So it's, as you can see, it's the kind of the many implementations for you to choose from. So this is basically timeline about the MicroProfile releases. As you can see, like it has very frequent release. We have releases every year. This year we released MicroProfile 6.1 in October time. So MicroProfile 6.1 is a minor release. It has 3 MicroProfile specification update: telemetry 1.1, metrics 5.1, and config 3.1. All the others unchanged. As you can see, you have learned a lot about Jakarta EE and also MicroProfile 6.1 packaged with Jakarta EE 10 core profile. So in the next couple of slides, I'll talk to you about MicroProfile 6.1, and for config 3.1, it has a very minor change. It has a spec clarification regarding the config profile. So basically, we say, okay, this profile basically control which configuration value will surface per config source. So basically, if you're in the dev and the percentage dev and config, so that value will surface out. If you are in the prod and then percentage prod dot config name, that value will surface out. And also there's a TCK update to ensure the runtime only support Jakarta E10 core profile is able to run the config TCKs. For telemetry, again, is also minor change. It consumes the latest open telemetry 1.29. And also it has added some more TCKs and also clarified some, like in the spec about which API classes this spec endorse. Metrics again has the minor update is that did not change any API. Instead, it added a few more config properties for the for example, like MP.metrics distribution percentile, histogram bucket, SLO, and also some other values. So you can be using slash metrics to get all of your metrics, and also it has a scope support as well. So in the next few slides, I will do a deep dive. So basically show you everything about MicroProfile, and hopefully with this presentation, you know a great deal about MicroProfile. So it's as you may know already, MicroProfile came with two flavors of releases. On the left is platform release. When we say MicroProfile 6.1 is I'm talking about platform release. Standalone release, so basically these specifications is use their own release cadence. So it's a platform release. It has this 8 MicroProfile specifications plus JakartaOne core profile. And a standalone release, as you can see, it has open tracing, context propagation, reactive stream operators, reactive messaging, GraphQL, LIA. So for these two grid base, so open tracing, as you know, open tracing and open sensors merge together to become open telemetry. So open tracing is basically stabilized. So with that, we are not going to continue with MicroProfile open tracing. So it's stabilized. Again, for context propagation is basically a major piece of like functionality moved to Jakarta concurrency. Again, this specification is also stabilized. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk to you all of the specifications except these two stabilized specifications. First, you might be asking, why should I get excited with the MicroProfile? I mean, what can MicroProfile give me? So consider if you are trying to do like microservices. As a developer, I want to create a microservice working in the cloud. So very simple. So it's how MicroProfile can help. It helps using the Jakarta REST for web services. You can basically create two classes, application class and also resources. With that, and you will get an endpoint exposed straight away. So then it's exposed basically to your client. And then like when you basically have microservices, you want to basically want to know what does this service do. In MicroProfile, we have MicroProfile Open API. It documents what this basically endpoint is, and also tell you like what does this service do. If you know Swagger, you pretty much know MicroProfile Open API already. So on the right-hand side, so basically that's MicroProfile Open API, basically the endpoint / Open API basic output. And also some runtime such as OpenLiberty. Also we have like a UI integration as well. So you can see the Open API UI. Let me give you a quick demo. This if you want to get started with basically creating a RESTful web services, you can use OpenLiberty.io starter. So basically, you choose this is like a group ID, artifact ID, which is say JakartaOne. As you can see, we have like JakartaOne 10, MicroProfile 6, and then you can say generate a project, and then I can basically start it. So it's I can just wait. If I do start my VS Code. So as you can see, basically they give me a project, and also one thing is I have a Liberty dashboard like installed. So it's if you use VS Code, IntelliJ or Eclipse, you can install this, and then I can start this project. I can start this service in a Liberty dev mode. As you can see here, like give me a POM like the project, no POM, the Maven project. And when you open the POM, you can see basically all the APIs, Jakarta EE10 and MicroProfile 6 is all available to you. And then you have like the Jakarta, you have OpenLiberty Maven plugin and etc. And for the basically for the source, you can see you have a REST. So basically, let me make it bigger. You can see the REST created that. And also in basically it also creates the config for the OpenLiberty config file is the feature is Jakarta EE10 and MicroProfile 6. And now basically I have an application. Let me just create basically REST handler. So basically, I want to create the class, the REST class. I use basically here I create a REST. So I use basically the code assistant like Liberty 2 provides to me. So it's a method name. If I just say hello, and then I can say hello Jakarta EE. JakartaOne live stream. I save this one. As you can see here, it says that is in 1980. So if I go to basically localhost, I know I have like the MicroProfile Open API there. I can directly go here, Open API. Basically the UI, I can see the get info operation. I can even try it out. I can execute. As you can see here, it said hello JakartaOne live stream. And the other thing is, so this is pretty good. The other thing is, what if I want basically, I want to say actually is, I want to say here is basically the 2023. I want to configure it. So how can I do with the configuration? So let me go back to the slide and talk to you about how can I configure my application. Basically, it's I don't want hard code 2023. How can I do it? So the beauty is, in the MicroProfile config, you can directly inject the value into your Java code. You can see inject config property and the name. And if it's dynamic, you can inject a provider and then the type. And also this is the kind of the property name. And this you can specify in the different config sources. You can do in the MicroProfile -config.properties in your application, or you can specify the environment variable or system property or any customer config source. The beauty with the config sources, they have ordinal. So basically, it's if you specify the same config property, same config property in multiple config sources, the one with the highest ordinal will win. So basically, if you specify this in both this file and this file, and then value true will be used. So let's take a look. So let's see in the basically in my change here. If I say here I want to inject basically add inject config property. I want to say name is the year. And it's int. Yeah. So it's me import this one is the Jakarta inject. Again, I will import this one is MicroProfile config. So again, as you can see, this Liberty tooling is this is language, basically this tooling will tell you the year is not assigned. So it's, you will get error. So here I have to specify the year. I mentioned earlier, you can specify as in the MicroProfile configure properties. You can see here, can just automatically tell you, oh, year. If I just say 2023, and now if I go back here, and the warning no longer there. Now, if I do see here, I will say year. Let me save that. See, it says successfully. Let me go to execute. As you can see here, it said 2023. So this is awesome. As you can see here, it's the kind of, you might be saying, okay, inside of my application and nothing magic. However, if you basically in the cloud environment, you can specify in the basically Kubernetes config map and etc. So this enable you basically not to upload your application, but change the value straight away. So it's the next thing you might be saying, okay, basically, I don't really, when I use microservice architecture, I will need to create many microservices. Basically, how can I call other microservices? In MicroProfile REST client, mechanism was provided basically, first, if you microservice A want to call microservice B. So all you need to do is create an interface map for microservice B, and then you annotate it with register REST client. And then you can directly inject that REST client and inject it to your REST, basically it's the resources. And then I start calling default REST client dot get properties. And then you might be asking, oh, okay, that's magic. How does it know where B lives? Okay, so this is need to be configured. So how does the configuration work? So basically, you do fully qualified class name, system client, or OpenLiberty guide inventory the client slash MPREST slash URL. This is what service B lives. So basically, and then when you call default REST client dot get properties automatically going here to do the invocation. So let's take a look. Let me do that. Let me stop this one, and then let me take this off, and let me directly go to basically this application. So this application I created using MicroProfile starter. So it has two services. One is the Jakarta, basically one is like service A, the other one is service B. So it's let me directly start a service B, and also I start a service A. So it's in service B. So basically, this is service B. Service B has very simple operation. It has a service controller. Let me directly going down here. So service controller had to do something. So if you know the MicroProfile starter, this is familiar to you. Also the service A, basically this is the kind of the backend. Service A, how can service A call service B? Remember here to do something with the pass param. And the service A, basically I mentioned earlier, directly create an interface, do something pass param is get operation. And then you can basically, and also this is annotated with the register REST client. And then you can directly inject a REST client service. Also, I mentioned earlier, you need to configure it. So the configuration directly in here is fully qualified class name slash MPREST slash URL. This is the service B lives. So with that, basically the application up running. So it's also in the, basically the localhost 9080. So this is the service A. So this one is the REST client is directly calling to the backend. So service B. If you do not, if you basically don't believe me, let me just change the service B to prove actually it is. So if I say JakartaOne 5, 3, save this one. So it's again Liberty demo. As you can see here, yeah. So that's the real is the service A directly calling into service B. Let's go back to the presentation. So next thing is, what if you want to protect your service to prevent from unauthorized access? So with MicroProfile and there's MicroProfile JWT, it basically provide a way to secure your microservices and also provide a mechanism to pass in the relevant token so that for backend to verify it to grant the correct access right. So using for secure microservices, you use the Jakarta basically it's annotation called rows allowed. And in this code snippet, it means only the row belong to admin, only the user belong to admin or user this row be able to access this get property for host. Otherwise, it will be rejected. So with that, let's quickly have a look. So again, in service B, this backend has basically this operation is rows allowed is protected. So how like the service A be able to be able to basically access this operation. Basically, all it needs to do the user belong to the protected. So it's in this operation. So it's basically is in here operation when it's trying to call the operation, call the backend. So it's use the Jakarta REST, Jakarta REST, and the client basically web target client builder directly call the client. However, when the call client needs to pass in the token, the token is the bearer token is this token need to special. It need to pass in the basically the which access group it belong to. So this is the way it use vertex the API creates a JWT or this token. So when a token created, you can set all these kind of the claims, audience issue, and this is very basically is set up and the UPN and etc. So it's a MicroProfile JWT utilize the JWT. It adds 2 claims. One is UPN, the other on groups. So this one, as you can see, is a set a group belong to protected. So that's why it's able to access this backend. If I directly go in here, so this is the operation directly call the backend. However, if I change this protected to be protect. For example, I just change that, and if I try to access it again, it will just stop. Basically, it's didn't allow me to access it. So it's as you can see here, I change it back and go in there and come back, and it will be happy again. The other thing actually is not only this. The other bigger thing is you could even have a look what a token like. I can even inject the token. So it's add inject JSON web token. I can inject a token. I just say token, and then I can even tell what the token is like. So if I do token dot get raw token, if I save that, if I directly come in here again, and then you can see here, I can even get my token. You know, if you know JWT, this is all this is all encoded. If I go to JWT.io and I can decode it. So it's, as you can see here, the type is JWT, algorithm is RS256. So you can see the group is user unprotected. So this is kind of the how easily to secure the microservices using MicroProfile JWT to pass over the token. So it's what if I want to provide a good response to my client no matter what happens? Basically, you create a resilient microservices. MicroProfile fault tolerance is basically is a spec provides you with many annotations for you to basically make your microservice resilience. So in this example is if something happened, you can fall back to an alternative method. And also it has annotations at a retry. Basically, you can retry certain times with a delay or jitter or maximum retry. You can configure or timeout. How long do you want to wait for your operation to come back? And circuit breaker prevent from the repeatable error, so you can basically fail fast. And then you also can configure success threshold, failure ratio, and etc. Bulkhead is prevent from the resource exhausting. So basically control how many concurrent requests you are allowed to basically keep. If you use Bulkhead together with asynchronous, and you can also specify waiting queue as well. Asynchronous basically provide a way to do the asynchronous programming, almost like it was introduced purely for the Bulkhead, but it itself has additional kind of functionality to basically this operation will run on separate thread. And again, I mentioned earlier, fallback, it provides a way to fall back a different operation. So this basically is the annotations can use together, and also it has metrics as well. So it will be created and automatically enabled. And all this kind of the configuration can be configured as well. So it's all these kind of parameters can be configured. So it's kind of fully qualified class name, annotation, and also annotation name, and also the basically all these parameter name. And this is all specified in the MicroProfile fault tolerance spec. So it's what if basically ensure? So basically it's up to now you pretty much create your microservice. You are ready for the cloud, basically cloud kind of enablement. So next thing you need to consider about the cloud, how can I ensure they work in the cloud, and how can I monitor them? So again, this will be using like a MicroProfile health metrics and telemetry to give you basically analytics data, and also if something goes wrong, we'll tell you exactly what goes wrong. So the first, how can you communicate with Kubernetes? So this is from the MicroProfile health. In MicroProfile health, it has 3 annotations: is the readiness and liveness and a startup. So basically, also it's exposed 3 alternative, 3 corresponding endpoint /health/live/health/ready, and etc. And this is directly feeding with the Kubernetes readiness check, liveness check, and startup. With that, actually, in this operation, in here, you can see here, if I do /health /live, so you can see the live data. And also you can configure this live data. So basically here, this is liveness. So you can specify, maybe if you run or RAM, you will say it's kind of not live. And ready, the other things that you can put in, maybe you couldn't contact your database, you had better say no, you're not ready. And startup is purely for the application starting very slowly, and then it's basically if you call something, is written is I'm started and etc. So this is kind of the MicroProfile health. The other thing is the basically the thing is kind of there's the aggregated endpoint / health. So basically this aggregation of the three endpoints working together. So as I mentioned earlier, this is correspond to the Kubernetes startup probe, liveness probe, and readiness probe. So what if I want to know how well my basically microservice is behaving, and also how many traffic it is serving? Again, with that, we use MicroProfile metrics. It has many APIs. Basically, it has timed and it has counted and etc. And also it's exposed endpoint / metrics. So with that, if I directly go into my endpoint here, if I say at timed, if I say a timed name equals JakartaOne, and import that. So if I save this, and if I invoke this backend again, so basically invoke this few times, and then if I go to the endpoint, here is all the metrics will be in the localhost 9080 metrics. So actually, as you can see, there's many metrics. So the rest and also is kind of the method, and also the scope is base. And then toward the end, there's also vendor metrics as well. And there's quite a few metrics. You can see Jakarta. Yeah, there's some other REST basically metrics, and also the vendor metrics, and this is the application metrics. As you can see, there's many many metrics. And if you say, okay, this is too much, and then you can see scope equals the application. So this is directly basically give you application. So as this is the metrics you put in, so Jakarta metrics. So that's kind of for the metrics pillar. And then you might be thinking, okay, this looks quite cool. And actually, in the MicroProfile metrics 5.1 is released influenced by the micrometer, and also the implementation can use micrometer, but it still directly expose the /metrics endpoint. And also, I mentioned earlier, the metrics can be viewed in the endpoint /metrics. And in OpenLiberty, we use micrometer as the implementation, and also it works with many different monitor systems. And also you can bring in your own meter registry. Autobox, it has a micrometer, basically it's a global registry and Prometheus meter registry. You can plug in the Dynatrace meter registry or New Relic meter registry, and etc. And we know things always go wrong, right? If something goes wrong, you basically want to know what's the problem. If you have no way to tell what's the problem, then that's a real problem. So luckily we have MicroProfile telemetry. So it basically provides a way to directly basically correlate all the different spans and give you one single trace. So this is kind of the beauty is MicroProfile telemetry adopt open telemetry. However, it also provides some very nice integration with open telemetry. As we can see here, it supports 3 instrumentations, or like open telemetry, manual and automatic and Java agent. So automatic one is basically if you are doing JAX REST web services, all the like spans automatically correlated, or you can use Java agent and etc. if you don't have a way to change your application code. And in the MicroProfile telemetry, so far we only have adopted open telemetry tracing. We have a plan to adopt metrics and logging in the next release. So it's the MicroProfile telemetry 1.1 is in the MicroProfile 6.1 release. In more details, so it's telemetry, the support Java agent, you can specify when you start a JVM, so Java agent, and you can specify this basically parameters. For automatically, you don't need to do anything. For manual, you can use the annotation with span or span attribute. And the beauty is you can directly inject open telemetry. You don't have to bootstrap it, you inject it. So this is beauty what I added by MicroProfile telemetry, and inject the tracer, inject the span, inject the bucket. So this is how MicroProfile telemetry works. So basically propagate all the context for a single request, and then it's visiting many applications. The microservice is all basically it's one trace rule them all. So you can see all the spans together. Let's have a look. Basically, auto box. So there's no trace enabled. If I basically want to enable the trace, so I can directly configure it. So all the things you need to configure is you specify hotel.sdk.disabled, basically you say false, and also you do hotel.service.name. For example, here I will do a JakartaOne A. This basically I save this one, and similarly in service B, I also basically specify this is going to be hotel.sdk.disabled, and also the service name. And with that, if I directly go to this operation again, invoke this a few times. Now, if I go to the Jaga, so here, this as you can see, the JakartaOne A. So let me do a find trace. As you can see here, I did poke it twice. I got 3 spans. You can see from the service A and to service B. Tell me exactly how long it's spending at each operations. So this is basically a quick run through of this the observability. So it's I have so far done all the deployment. Now it's time to choose my cloud. So which cloud do you want? Yeah, I like IBM cloud and together with other cloud. The beauty of using JakartaOne MicroProfile and Liberty is it works on any cloud. I don't really I don't basically don't need to worry about which cloud. So it's so let's have a look. So in order to deploy to the cloud, first thing you use basically containerize them. So you either use Docker or Podman. And also you need to basically create your deployment, or you use the operator. And if you want to manage services, you can install Istio. So it's the beauty with MicroProfile config I mentioned earlier. You can specify your Kubernetes config map and directly can inject into your Java source. So here is a Kubernetes config map, and then you map to environment variable. As I mentioned earlier, environment variable is opt-in config source for your application, so you can directly inject into it. So MicroProfile health with Kubernetes, we mentioned earlier, this endpoint port and directly correspond to readiness probe. So you can specify as HTTP GET. The other thing is the MicroProfile metrics with Kubernetes. As you can see, is all these data metrics, the data in the open metrics format. And then in the many cloud, there has integrated Prometheus, so you can view the dashboard and very nicely. The other thing is that if you want to manage services, Istio is something you need to learn. So the in the Istio, basically it's the doc. It says, oh, if you want to propagate this context to basically let me to create the trees for you, you need to propagate these headers. All these kind of 7 HTTP headers automatically propagated by telemetry, so which is really nice. So use MicroProfile and together with basically as your programming model, and you can work really nicely with your Istio infrastructure. And then you might think, okay, you have told me all these kind of RESTful services. Actually, I really into the reactive programming model. Hang on a minute, and MicroProfile also provide you the programming model for the reactive like architecture. So it has basically reactive messaging. So it has publish and directly publish, and then you have a subscriber. So basically it's consumer messages. So for publish, basically you have outgoing, so this is channel, and then the incoming will be the receiver. And then one operation could be basically both processor incoming and outgoing, basically process a message and then send a message. And in MicroProfile, basically reactive messaging 3, it's bridge imperative and with reactive. So you can basically introduce the channel and emitter. You can directly basically poke this post and then publish message, and then other operation method can receive the message. And the other thing is for the basically transactions. Microservice transactions is the kind of the very basically hot topic. And also when you talk about microservice transaction, you will automatically think about Saga pattern. In MicroProfile LRA, it adopted Saga pattern. Basically, it has the annotation LRA. So directly, basically, this is a transaction. It will automatically, basically, if you annotate it with LRA, it will basically register with the coordinator. If it's something working, it will call the complete. If something not working, it will be called the compensate. So this is basically it's eventual consistency. So it's basically it will commit all the time if something goes wrong and then undo it. So this is how LRA worked. So the other thing is what if you want to frequently query updated data? So the MicroProfile GraphQL is the one to help you along. So it's in that starter also have the GraphQL. Basically, it's a demo. So you annotate it with GraphQL API, and also if you basically query, you can do an annotated query, even the mutation, annotated mutation, and then you can basically directly query them. So it's if you are convinced with the MicroProfile, where you can get started. I mentioned the MicroProfile starter. You can basically is basically this extension package works for both the IntelliJ and the VS Code you can install. Again, it's OpenLibrary starter, and some other runtime might also got a starter. Also, it's in the OpenLibrary, there's a really nice guide about MicroProfile. That's a link. And also there's a good material in the MicroProfile.io. Also, I co-author a book with a few my colleagues. Check it out. Let me end up with the MicroProfile in 2024. So I mentioned earlier, we are going to adopt metrics in MicroProfile telemetry, and also move the MicroProfile metrics to be standalone, and also make the core profile as loosely coupled, so can mix and match. And also going to update other specs. Most of the specs will be updated. And then work on the new specs is MicroProfile JWT Bridge. It's a collaboration between MicroProfile JWT and Jakarta Security. And then we also evaluate a new spec, converter, and serverless. So what is this? So with that, I think that's the end of my presentation. So it's so what if, so it's a couple questions. What should I get started with MicroProfile? Go to the MicroProfile starter.microprofile.io, check out the starter and build a sample application, and also the OpenLibrary.io basically guides for you. And the other thing, what if I want to use another implementation? MicroProfile is the standard, so it's basically you don't need to update your application to use another implementation. So for example, Payara also implement a MicroProfile pretty up to date, Halliden, Quarkers, and etc. The only difference is the tools and configuration, and also performance. Okay, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you have learned all the updates about MicroProfile. If you have any questions, follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn, Emily FH Jiang, and talk to you later. Thank you.